What is up? Episode 13. I haven't looked up the origins of why the number 13 is unlucky. Maybe I should. I was doing some research the other day, and I did find out that when people post online and they tag the end of their comment with asking for a friend, I think that they're actually talking about themselves. I could be wrong, but I think it's like a clever way of like saying like, oh yeah, asking for a friend, but really they're asking for themselves. I don't know 100%. I could be wrong, but I'm going to look it up. Hope everybody's doing well. If you haven't heard these episodes before, I'm just looking to talk about some Austin comedians. I don't know why I always say comedians. Some Austin comics, some Austin stand-up comics, talk about what I like about them. If I remember any jokes that they rattle off, any first impressions, any funny stories, things of that nature. Specifically about comics in Austin, Texas. So let's get into it. This episode, I want to celebrate a couple comedians, Mr. Craig Fergola, Mr. James Carrigan, and Mr. Colton Dowling. So, Craig Fergola, let's start with him. I believe I've talked about him in a episode before. I believe he's from Maine, if I'm not mistaken. Funny dude. I think has some of the smarter comedy out there in the scene. His jokes are really smart. He simplifies them and makes them palatable for people, but to me, they are really smart jokes. Like the way, like the logic behind them is very smart. It's a cool dude. I'm trying to think of one of my favorites of his. The joke about his brother being a doctor is funny. What's another really good one of his? But I don't know. He's just got a unique voice to me, at least maybe it's his accent and he's in Texas and it gives him that little edge, you know? But he's funny to me. He's funny to crowds too. I'm trying to think if I have any stories. I mean, the only story that I could think of is when he was shouting at the guy who was shouting at everybody else and said some heinous shit to him. And the guy stood his ground. I was like, damn, dude, if I was that guy, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm done, dude. This guy's really getting after me. But yeah, so hope you're doing well, Craig. Let's talk about James Carrigan. Carrigan hosts the Cenote open mic. I got to know him a little bit through talking in the scene. He's a funny guy. I think he's the first person that the first open mic I ever went to was at Kick Butt Coffee. And I didn't know how the list was going to be. And they put the list out, people started swarming it. And I remember Carrigan going, decorum, gentlemen, decorum. That's not a great James Carrigan impression. Let me, decorum, gentlemen, decorum. Maybe it's, I don't know, it's very normish. But yeah, he's funny, man. He's got a unique kind of vibe to him. I like the way he goes up on stage and picks up the mic stand while he tells his jokes rather than adjusting the mic stand. He just picks it up because he's really tall. Obviously, the joke about him being too sexual is hilarious. It's one of my favorite jokes that anybody does in Austin. It always lands for me. Seems like it always lands for the crowd as well. It's a good one. It's just a really good joke. What else? Yeah, he's a good host. He's got just that, like, the enough kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? He's got just enough venom when he's hosting to make it really funny. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any specific stories of Carrigan. I think it's really funny. Him and Craig's relationship is really funny because whenever they're around each other, they talk shit to each other. And you can hear Carrigan from the back of the room laughing super loud or talking shit to people. So their dynamic is funny. Yeah. I don't know. Just a nice dude. Hope you're doing well, James. I think he's thinking about moving to China or something like that. Or I don't know if he went or not. Will definitely be, I think he would double the height of the average height there. I don't know if that's a short joke or a tall joke, whichever you're going to be least offended by. All right, let's get into the third and final comic of this episode, Mr. Colton Dowling. Colton's funny. Colton is definitely a big energy on stage. Let me think of the joke that stands out to me. I mean, he's got a lot of funny stuff. He's got a funny voice that he does through some of his jokes, but it's like it's a lot to follow as a crowd member, as an audience member. It's a little bit of manicness to it, but I like it. He was actually there also the night that that guy was yelling through everybody's sets, and I remember that when I did my set. Halfway through, I thought that I was doing poorly. This will be a lesson for people of what not to do. Halfway through, I started doing poorly. So I commented on it and I said, man, this doesn't feel like it's going really well. Now, when you say that, if it's going poorly, people will laugh. Because they're like, oh yeah, he knows too. But this night, I did it and nobody laughs. So I kind of waffled through the rest of my set, got off stage, and I felt shitty because even like my, ace in the hole of commenting on myself doing bad didn't work. So we were kind of chatting outside, a couple comedians, and I mentioned to the host, I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't think I was going to do that poorly. And when the host walked away, Colton was like, you weren't doing poorly. And I was like, shit. So I'm sure that in that moment, the crowd was confused. I don't think I was killing the room, but if I was doing okay and you comment on doing poorly, it's going to be weird. It's like having a conversation with somebody and it's going fine. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, this is going bad, right? This is going downhill quick. It's just very confusing. And it's letting your insecurities get the best of you. So, it was a good learning lesson. But he was kind of somebody who iterated that night. I was actually working with him on a project that may or may not be happening. I don't know. I've been slacking on it, but I have been working on stuff. So Adam, if you hear this, I'm working on it. So don't. I'm still sending stuff. Shouts out to Drew. I doubt you'll listen to this, but hope you're doing well, friend. Yeah, and then also we troubleshot some sketches. And Colton was brutally honest, but also in the spirit of making the sketch better. So thank you for that, sir. And I think with that, I might call it a podcast. Thank you guys for listening. If you're an Austin comic, there's a good chance I'm going to talk about you at some point. So keep your ear to the ground. Otherwise, stay safe, stay healthy, and stand-up comedy will be back. Have a great day.